Welcome, soul family. I am the magical medium, and welcome to this spiritual guidance channel. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for letting me be a part of your journey. This reading feels very dear in my soul and to my heart because this is one of the first decks that was ever gifted to me. I was working as a channel, as a medium, but I didn't use any visual aids in the way of cards. I always had crystals, stones, things from the earth. I walked with a Native American shaman who is Cherokee. I am also Cherokee. I've actually walked with two Native American shamans that were Cherokee. And they really helped me get grounded and bring me back to self. So I thought it was really special when this deck was gifted to me because I found it at a soul sister's house and I just loved it. I fell in love with it. And shortly after I got home, she had so many decks. She sent me this beautiful care package with like 5 decks. And she was just like, I really think this is your path. Especially because why these were so near and dear to me, because the very, very first deck that I ever used is the Native Spirit Medicine deck, and with the spirit animals. And one of my shamans worked with those cards, and then another dear soul sister and reader just brought them to me, and she said, I think these are for you. She's like, I think you're supposed to have these. And I just connected with them right away. And I was really heavy into indigenous medicine at the time, so it was just really aligned with my path. So now I have over 30 decks. I don't know how many I have anymore, but and so many of them have been gifted by you guys. So thank you so much. I love you so much. And thank you also in the last week, you guys have been amazing. Thank you so much for the cash donations. Thank you for the cards. I love you guys so much. It means so much to me. It really helps support me on my journey as well, so that I can focus on this and not focus on like where things are coming from. And I've learned that I don't do that anymore. I did learn the old way, so to speak, from my shamans, and that was that, whatever comes to you comes to you. You have exactly what you need, exactly when you need it. So with that being said, I've worked with all different types of medicine, as you know, with my readings, but it's been a minute since we've worked with the Native Spirit deck. So I ask you to please, give them the love and respect that they deserve. If you're multitasking, do not do that. During this reading, I want you to be very, very, very focused. Even right now, as you're looking at this picture, at the 3 piles before you, you're going to see a lot of interesting things all around you, and that's okay. That's okay. And maybe you're called to all 3 piles. Honestly, I don't know what's in them either. I slipped and saw certain cards, but I don't remember which one is what now because it took me a while to put this together. I will say this. We are going to talk a little bit more about today because this is the waning crescent energy. We are in the rest and restore period. But before we move forward, for some of you who aren't sure which pile, Spirit wanted me to draw your attention to pile number 1. If you notice, there's a rock there. That's Charlotte. She's amazing. She has so much energy. I can't even tell you. I love that rock. So that's pile number 1. Pile number 2 is the feathers. So if you're drawn to feather medicine, and pile number 3 is rosemary. And like I said, maybe you're drawn to all 3. There's also placements of things, beautiful gifts, tokens of our appreciation to the ancestors, this life spiral, and then we have a little white feather over here that's poking out. So, whatever feels good. Whatever feels good. It was like they almost threw themselves together this way. I have a lot of respect for the energies that are here today. They are the ones that molded me and made me, and all of us, right? We all come from indigenous medicine, no matter what continent you come from, right? Like at some point, there were those who walked before us in a different manner, in a different way. And also this particular deck, the Native Spirit deck, is so potent and strong with the Native American medicine. I mean, honestly, it's unbelievable. I mean, that's where it derives from, but still, you know how sometimes like certain decks, like you'll still get like other energies. It's like, no, this one, it's so special to me. It's so connected to the earth, to the animals. It's earth, air, fire, and water. Like it just, there's such a beautiful connection. So today, we are talking about making love out of nothing at all. And when spirit talks about that, what they're saying is right now, the way the planet is, and whenever you watch this, it's timeless, of course, but in real time, it is March 29th. We are just a few days off of the major catastrophic event that happened at the Oscars. I mean, you seriously would have to not ever like you know what I mean? Like if you don't listen to the news or you don't watch anything, then absolutely you probably wouldn't know, right? But it's not even that. It's just such a, I mean, it's such a over the water cooler thing. Like, I don't think we've had anything like this in so long. Something that's surpassing a war that's happening with people who are being murdered. You know what I mean? It's just because it made us all see all the different aspects of humanity in that. And oh, by the way, our angel number is 414. Also, when I look down, it's exactly 6 minutes. So if you're called to the number 6, there's a reason for it. And also 6 is, the number coming after hardships. So, that was a hard pill for all of us to swallow. I'm going to write that down. So that could be, what that is. Okay, so 414. And also, I don't know why, but out of nowhere, I just felt like 414 is an area code. I don't even know what area code that is. So if that means anything to you guys, I'm going to put parentheses around that so I remember. And 6, angel number. Okay, so I want to put that in the, always look below, for all of my information to contact me and donate to this channel. And also anything that we speak about in the readings that spirit calls me to take notes to. It's hard for us to remember everything, right? We're getting all of this medicine. So it's like, whew, it's a lot to take in. Most of the time when people work with me, I always say, I'm 100 an hour. So I'm like, you don't have to pay me anything over an hour unless you want to, and you can afford to do so. And I say that because medicine can take a long time for us to understand and digest. And so when I do my readings with people, my one-on-one spiritual guidance sessions, we talk about a lot of things. We talk about life. We talk about, it's not just like, oh, here, I'm not just going to flip cards. And, I can do that. I have half hour for $55 if you just need a straight up reading, like something like, you need some guidance and some clearance on a topic. Absolutely. Absolutely. If we're called to do that, we shall do that. Reach out to me at themagicalmedium@gmail.com. All of my information, again, is in the description box below. But yeah, so much has been happening. Let's put it this way. Spirit had me start a Twitter. So if you're on Twitter, I just started, and it's The Magical Medium. It looks just like my channel, so it'll be easy to find. I'm sure they're going to have me put a link on my page. I already posted 3 things, and they've been having me gather things like, like little Easter eggs, as my birthday sister would say. They've been having me gather little clips here and little things here and little pictures of this. And I'm like, okay, so I don't know what's going to be happening on Twitter or what's going to go on there, or if it's just for one person. I have no idea. I joined Twitter when it first came out and it didn't feel right to me. And then Instagram and Facebook came and I just like went there because I was more of a visual person. I was a visual, I took pictures and video. And so Twitter, they didn't have that back then. It was just like, what it was. Anyway, with that being said, I don't really know much about it, so bear with me, but I have a few things up already that Spirit had me post, really powerful, just, messages from the universe kind of thing. But I don't want to talk about it too much, but absolutely positive. When I look down, it's 8:58 if you're called to that. And it was 8:58, so it could be 8 and then 58, and 58 is also 13, so if that means anything. But feel free to comment below. Polite conversation, of course, to speak your truth. And like, how did you feel about that? Like, what did that make you feel like? I literally, what's upsetting me is how many times they're re-showing it. Like, I was looking at something and it was like, they just kept showing him hitting him over and over. And I'm like, this isn't funny and it's not a joke. And what happened is really fucked up and it's going to trigger. It's triggered. I literally, when they told me to go on Twitter, it's after that happened. And the first thing I heard from Spirit was, the slap heard round the world. And I was like, holy shit, is that what you want me to say? And like, I'm gonna go on Twitter and the first thing I'm gonna say is the slap heard round the world, and you want me to like hashtag or like, tag these people? Because I don't really know how it works yet. They're like telling me what to do. I was like, I don't want to do that. I was like, I don't want to fucking get into that conversation. I don't want, and they're like, why do you think you're here? And they're like, what do you think you're doing now? You know, they're like, no, this is the time. But, if you're not comfortable with that right now, we'll start somewhere else. And so right now, I'm leaving it like where it is, because I was like, no, it just didn't feel right to leave it up there. I just feel like right now it's really fresh, and I'm not here to invite that kind of energy. It's like, I feel like my Twitter is supposed to be our Twitter, ours, like spirit and mind. Like, again, I'm just here as a vessel. So I'm just here to put out stuff. So whatever they want me to put out or say from things that I find from people, then that's what I'm supposed to do. That's why it's not a picture of me. My name's not on there. It's not about that, right? It's literally like, I'm just doing what I'm told. I'm just the channel. So, but yeah, it's so amazing. And the Pisces moon, we are in the last stages of it, because like I said, in real time it's March 29th, 2022, but April 1st is a new moon, and that will be the new moon in Aries. So we have been shifting out of the into the Aries energy and out of the Pisces energy, because the new moon in Pisces, that moon still carries on. So we're in the rest and restore. We're in the last moon cycle, the 8th cycle of the moon cycle, where now we look back on the last moon cycle, on the last month, right? And we're like, okay, whatever I put out into the universe on the new moon, what came to me, what didn't, what needs to stay, what needs to go, you know what I mean? Where do I need to take my focus on, or take my focus away from and put on somewhere else? Because, it's time to get really specific. On our new moon reading, I'm going to talk about that, but it's time to get really specific about what we want and what we're looking for, and then say to spirit, at least show me a sign in this moon cycle, or bring it to me in this moon cycle. Like whatever languaging feels good, meditate on it, talk to spirit, ask them, like which direction, and if nothing happens, nothing during that time, then that means for now, whatever that focus you want, it's not time. So that means to go back into meditation, sit with spirit, ask for the signs again, and let them come to you. And a lot of times if we fight things, it's because that's the medicine that we actually need, whatever we're fighting. It's like the mirror effect, right? Whatever's, if somebody's riling you up, like the way that this happened, it's like, Will Smith's mom's like, I have never seen my son violent. Like I've never, now either they're all lying and he's always been a violent person and we see a different side of him, or that soft, sensitive being that we saw giving the speech. Cause it's like, it's such a head fuck. And so many people are like trying to get their mind around it. Cause they're like, you understand, he assaulted him, came back, told him to fuck himself. And then like, everybody just went along with everything like it was normal. I mean, there were people triggered in there. You think there wasn't at least one person in there that gets beat normally or gets hit or intimidated? You didn't think that it triggered one fucking person? Of course it did. And millions of people were watching around the world. My friend in Belgium, I know she used to get up literally in the middle of the night to watch it, because it's like, she probably still does. I don't know, and, so it's a big fucking deal. He's a major, massive movie star. This is like so big. And I love the way that Pete Diddy was trying to make it better. He was just like, these are my people. This is the way we're going to hash it out. We love each other. Sometimes things get heated. And I know he was trying to make light of it. Amy Schumer everyone was trying to make light of it, because they were just like, that was some heavy motherfucking shit. What just happened? What just happened? And then he gets the Oscar the moment he's waited for his whole life, from his own self. I saw a little clip of him saying way before this, and Denzel was just like, it's like Tyler Perry and Denzel were like, what did you do? What did you do? Like, what happened? But it was also beautiful in some ways, because he's the rage that he was feeling, for like, he was sick of it. He's sick of people fucking making fun of him and his wife and his family. And like, he's trying so hard to protect his family, and who knows? And maybe he was still in, the mentality. I haven't seen King Richard. I don't know anything about the Williams family, but this whole thing had got me like seriously spun out for like 24 hours, because it was just fucking crazy. Like, I could not wait I mean, when I first saw it, I thought it was a skit. When I saw it wasn't real, I started crying because I love them both so much. And I was like, what the fuck? What, you guys? Like, what just happened? And I was like, oh my God. And where like some people are like, obviously something personal happened. Minnie Driver was so sweet and sensitive about it. I mean, everybody has something to say because it affected everybody in a different way. And some people look at him as a hero, some people look at him as a zero, and it's all this like cancel culture stuff. And it's like everything's coming to a head. And, you know, if it's true that he's never been violent and, you know, his mom was beat and his father verbally abused his mom. My father beat my mother and verbally abused my mother. So when he was talking about love, I was just like, oh, brother, I love you so much. Like, I have loved Will Smith for years. Like, literally, I remember the very first time I ever heard his voice. I remember the moment I was listening to him and decided to move to Los Angeles. And I did less than a year later. So like I have like mad respect for him. I love him. Like this is so out of character for him, I believe, but at the same time other people are like he's a narcissist and I was like, well, if he is, it's like he's the monster that we made him. And you know, we all are culpable, right? In some way because we cannot keep putting people on pedestals and like they are unaccountable for their actions. You know, I mean, just because Chris Rock doesn't want to press charges doesn't mean that the Academy won't. Or that, you know what I mean? This is a fucking pickle. This is a pickle. But it's also a huge thing for the mental health community because what sane, rational person would do that? It is an aggressive act in front of the world. When he said he had an out-of-body experience, I believe that he probably did. He was laughing, and then it's like you see Jada, and she's like starting to cry, and I think he was laughing, and then he looked at her, and then the camera panned away. So I don't know. Only people around there know what really happened. So I don't know if he just saw her and something triggered. I don't know. People are talking about when he was 9 years old, how his father was beating his mom so bad and he didn't get involved and like he keeps replaying that in his mind and you know and I remember that. I remember hanging from my father's arm as a small child as he was trying to take another swing at my mom. I remember jumping on my dad's back. Like I remember my siblings and I trying to fight my dad. Like oh, I'm starting to get emotional, right? So it's like this is huge. This is huge. So this is the end of a very emotional moon cycle. Pisces is a very emotional sign. And also my father is a Pisces. So for me, I'm like, this is just super heavy. So if this was heavy for you guys, I didn't know that it was going to get emotional like this. Set it free. Let it go. Before you enter this new moon cycle of Aries, whatever it is you need to deal with, like obviously, you know, when I'm done here, I'm going to have to work through this, you know. But it was a gift, a rare, odd gift, but it was. You know, and sometimes we do have out of body experiences. Yesterday, one of the horses are coming back. A lot of you know I live in a tiny home. I rent land on a tiny home on a horse boarding farm, and one of the horses came back. And the horse from up the hill, we share pasture. There's like a fence in between there. Long story short, Missy, she's one of my best friends. You guys know I've spoke about Missy forever. She's 30 years old. She's a sentient horse. She's a beautiful unicorn. She's one of my best friends. Anyway, she came back down yesterday and she got so excited when the other horse came that she kicked and got caught on the barbed wire and got really hurt. And it was like such a horrific experience. I had an out of body experience. Like Alder and I, it was our day off. We just like, he was shrooming. I was like, you know, smoking weed. We were just like relaxing. I had turned my phone off. I was just like in this great place. And then all of a sudden it was like, we like to watch the horses run across the pasture to each other. And it was like one moment it was magic. And the next moment it was like a fucking nightmare. I was like, what just happened? What just happened? Like I kept saying that too. Like I saw her get caught in the barbed wire. I heard her scream. It was horrible. I don't want to say anymore. I still don't know what's going on, but I promise you guys, I will keep you updated. I didn't mean to get anyone upset. But at the same time, it was like, I didn't even think about it. It's just like, I was like, oh my God, oh my God. And, I just like called up the hill, and I like ran and got gauze and like got all this stuff, and I just like booked out there and like jumped the fence, and I just was like, holy shit. It was bad, you guys. It was really bad. And I just like started, and she wouldn't calm down. And then before I knew it, it was like I called in the ancestors, the Native American ancestors. I felt them, you guys, and I just started chanting, and something was coming out of my mouth that I still don't even remember. But it was like, because she was in pain, and it was really bad, and I was trying to stop it from bleeding. And long story short, I just like I looked her in the face, and I was like, Missy, it's me. I'm like, it's me. I'm like, I know that you just came back, because it was like winter. I've only seen her once in like several months, because she goes up the hill for the winter. And so I just was like, it's me. I'm like, you need to calm down. I'm like, you don't kick me. I'm like, she's massive, right? And I was like, you gotta let me do this. You gotta let me do this. And before I knew it, it was just like I just put my hand on her, and I called to the spirits, and I called to all the healing energies of the universe. And then I called into my Native American family. I just knew, I felt it, and they just started talking to her and chanting her, and I felt all these energies around me. And then I just said, just stop. And then because I was going, shh, shh, it's okay. And she was like crying, and I was like, I know it hurts. I'm like, I know it's bad. I'm like, you gotta let me help you. I'm like, if I've got to stop it from bleeding, it's really bad, dude. And so like I was like trying to wrap it, but it's just a reaction. It hurt because I was trying to put not too much pressure on it. But anyway, long story short, before I knew it, this energy started working through me, and I was like chanting something, and then I heard like, I don't even know what it is. I couldn't replicate it. It was like I left my body, and they came in, and Missy like just she did not move. She did not flinch. She kept flinching because it's normal, right? It fucking hurts. And then she didn't flinch. She was shaking, but she didn't flinch. And I was just like, hold on, brother. I'm like, hold on, sister. It's just like, hold on. And I got it around there. And then I went around with the tourniquet, once I got it healthy. I put like this healthy cotton gauze, lightly around it. So, and then I put like the heavy, gauze around it to the pressure to stop the bleeding. And it was just like, whew, and it was like, oh my gosh. And then all of a sudden it was like, all of a sudden the girl came down from the hill, and like, anyway, and so that was that. And so they took her back up, and I've been waiting to hear back to find out, if she needed stitches or what happened. But it was pretty profound. And it, like, literally, like, I can't even snap, but like that, it happened so fast. And I couldn't think about whether I was high or, whatever. It was just like, I mean, where I live, I mean, we're on 10 acres, and they're up the hill. So it's like, I don't have fucking time to, you know what I mean? Like, I was shaking. I was like, my phone, I was like, I just grabbed my phone with me. And then poor Alder, my husband, he's streaming. He's in his own universe, right? And I'm like, okay, dude. I'm like, I'm just gonna, do this. And it just happened. It was amazing. That spirit gave me the courage to do that. It was really, really hard. So also 2223, if you're called the angel number. So sometimes it's like our emotions, it's like, we do what we have to do. And, sometimes we just don't think about it. Sometimes it's for good, like yesterday when I saved Missy. And sometimes it's for somebody who really thinks they're doing right. And then in hindsight, it's like, what the fuck did I do? And it's like, yeah, dude. And you did it in front of the world. In front of the world. I mean, this is like, and I don't mean this sarcastically, because I know this is a tragic thing that happened to a lot of people. But also, in perspective, there's a fucking war going on. A physical war. But this is an emotional, mental war that needs to be talked about. This is our mental health needs to be talked about. And I'm glad that a lot of people are bringing that up and saying like, that's not a rational response. He had to get up from his seat, walk up the stairs, walk across the stage and do that. Especially with Chris thinking he's going to come at him jokingly for a bit. They're friends. Did you know that both Jada and Will both made movies with Chris? They know Chris. And yeah, I don't know what they're, maybe they're in a beef. I have no idea. But either way, it's like, that is insane. And to humiliate him like that, it's like, I get what you're saying because he humiliated her. But it's like, this isn't an eye for an eye. And if we keep doing this, it's why we're at fucking war right now. So all of this had to happen. So, I don't want anyone to go to jail or him to lose his Oscar, what I want to happen is maybe a good old sit down with, maybe not Oprah, maybe Satguru or someone like that, where they're like, he's like, let's talk about like what's going on, like why did you attack him? And also to Chris Rock, you're a comedian, but like, maybe you should find out why she's bald. How do you not know that? Like a lot of people know that she has alopecia, and how sensitive that is to anybody. It doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman, but there's just like the awareness is on a heightened level. And there are so many movies coming out about slavery and, abduction and, sex trafficking. And you know what I mean? There's so many things that are coming to the forefront. TV shows, just a lot of stuff is coming out. So shit is being stirred up in everybody in every direction. I'm not kidding you. Like Alder and I, we watch things that like whatever spirit draws us to. And I mean, sometimes we'll be watching something and I'm like, I have no idea why we're watching this. And then like a half an hour in, like we'll just have this moment where I'm like, well, that's some deep shit. And I'm like, wow, we should talk about that. And it'll be something that we're going through personally and in our own individual lives or our relationship or both. And I'm just seeing how much spirit is talking to us through so many different venues, because even now I'm like, why are you having me join Twitter? Like, you have to know, if you know me, you know that I'm like, I only even do this because this is my job. But then spirit was like, you have to remember that just because you don't want to do this, like this is your job to be a prophet. People they need to find ways to find you, and you can't just limit yourself. Like I'm not even going to be surprised if they have me join Instagram or something. I really hope not. And I hope I won't go back on Facebook or any of that. But if they do, they do, or TikTok or whatever. But maybe I'll love it. I don't know. Maybe I'll love it. I have no idea. But I have so many of my own projects going on right now. With all that being said, I think really it's just about getting the messages out there right now. We are on a real fast-paced, fast track to healing, and it's coming up from everywhere. So in this rest and restore period, speaking with the Native Spirit deck, which is such a healing, deep healing medicine deck, I urge you, I implore you, I beg you to take this time. And no matter when you watch this, it's about the next new moon cycle, okay? That you really take the time and have the courage to release and let go of the things that are in your past, that are in your rear view mirror. Don't replay conversations, relationships, you know what I mean? As of this moment, right now, moving forward, everything is behind you. Today is a brand new start. So start thinking about that so that you can implement that energy into the next new moon cycle. And if you're watching it in real time, the greatest part about this is it's going to be the new moon in Aries. So we're coming off of this Pisces, very heavy Pisces moon, which is emotional. It's intuition based. Everybody's fucking like, everybody can see. They don't even realize it. Like the fact that that happened and it's happening right now at the end of this Pisces cycle. And when we're in the Aries energy, it's like, oh my gosh, because we're in water and fire, right? And it's just like, okay, but it's good because when the fires come up, then the water puts it out. And that's okay. Like, get upset. It's okay to get upset. We're supposed to. We're supposed to utilize our emotions. If we weren't, we wouldn't have them. So utilize these emotions to release and let go. And when you're starting this brand new moon cycle, reach to that fiery energy to inspire a new direction for your path, for your life. And if it's something you've been working on already and it's doing well, then that's wonderful. But think of something else. Is there something else that you're missing, right? Like you feel like you're missing, that maybe you want really bad and you're like, no, that's crazy. That's outside my wheelhouse. I can't. It's like, no, there is no dream too big when it comes to the new moon in Aries. Do you hear me? There is no dream too big. There's no dream too big. I've been saying this lately. Look up the American Idol auditions, especially this new season. There's some really awesome, awesome moments in these auditions. I love it, especially the original auditions. And I just love the way that Lionel Richie, Katy Perry, and Luke Bryan, they just have this really cool chemistry between the three of them. They all have something really supportive and loving to give. It's so different from the original American Idol. I was watching some of the old American Idol auditions. Like I wanted to see Kelly Clarkson's. She was talking about it and on her show, and I was like, oh, I want to. I went back and looked at it, and which, by the way, Kelly Clarkson, man, I was just like, she reminds me so much of myself, especially at that age. It blows my mind. I don't know who it was. I think it was she had a guest recently, and they were giving her a hard time. It was either Courtney Cox or it might have been, I don't know. But they were just kind of like, or Sandra Bullock, I think she was just like, you talk about yourself a lot or something. And I was like, oh, because I think that too. I was like, because you don't realize sometimes, you know, when you're a beautiful, fiery personality, and you have a lot to give. I mean, I don't know what her signs are, but she's just like full of so much life and zest and whatever. And she wears her heart on her sleeve, which is so beautiful. But at the same time, I'm like, girl, you got to let people speak. Like, this is a talk show. But I think she's growing into it, because there's sometimes when I'm watching her, I'll be like, stop stepping over them. And it's interesting because I find certain celebrities will like kind of counsel her. And because she's so adorable and loving and honest and endearing, it's like they can't help but they're like, I don't really give a shit about my thing. Like, how are you, and we all know, like, she's had a bitter divorce, and it's like all these things are like out there right now, and I don't have social media where I look at my friends' stuff or my family stuff, but if you guys do, I'm sure people are still doing that. So we're just all seeing that it doesn't matter where you come from or if you're famous or not. We are all the same. We all put our pants on one leg at a time. I mean, I remember years ago when I worked in Los Angeles and I opened the Planet Hollywood in Beverly Hills, and I saw the roster of the celebrities that I was going to be working with and all this. And I remember calling my mom and I was like, this is crazy. Like, I don't know if I could do this. Like, and my mom said, like we had to sign agreements and shit. I mean, it was crazy. I had to go through 4 interviews to be a server. I've never had to go through that in my life. It was nuts. And like background checks, it was really intense. And my mom said, who cares? They're just people. They put their pants on one leg at a time, just like you do. There is nothing different about them and you except for they are where they are and you are where you are. But you could be anywhere they are. If you can dream it, you can be it. And it's not shallow to want to quote unquote make it. There are a lot of artists and musicians on this page. There's a lot of people who come to this channel are very talented, from light workers to artists, to everything. I mean, to people who work with littles and medical professionals and healers, So we all have something special to give. Don't forget that. Take this time to rest and restore. Oh, you guys, I love you so much. Thank you for being a part of that. Thank you, Spirit, for channeling that energy through me today so that we can all talk about things now. Now we're really talking about shit, right? We're really talking about it. We're getting to the nitty gritty. We're going to do the same at your pile. So I'm going to start at pile number 1, and the rest of you, I will see you at your pile. And as usual, all of my information is in the description box below, and I will see you at your reading. Blessed be. Oh. Welcome, pile number 1. Your angel number is 3223. Wow, welcome. Pile number 1, Spirit. What card do we want to start with first in your pile? You chose Vision Quest. Okay. Also, I would like to say that my familiar and best friend, Baba the Great, Dolly Parton Pickles, my cat, she's an awesome Maine Coon forest cat. And she wanted to come into this reading. She doesn't do that all the time, so that may mean something to some of you guys. And a little hello to those of you who know her, but also maybe a little shout out to some of you who needed some cat medicine. Okay, so we have Vision Quest. I just realized I didn't try and sometimes I sample it out to make sure it's gonna, but look at that. I don't need to. Also, this is, they want me to read from the book. So I'm going to pull that out. Oh, you guys, I opened right to it. Oh boy, here we go. So now we're talking about, it was making love out of nothing at all. And when Spirit is saying that, they're saying with the way that the world is right now, we have to help it by making love out of nothing at all, bringing love into situations that need it most. So we will be finding out from Spirit how that will work for you. And for you to be thinking about in this rest and restore phase of, this is the last cycle of the moon, the eighth cycle, the final cycle of the moon in Pisces. So over this time, take this energy to really, really go deep into that intuition, to go in on that vision quest. And maybe for some of you, before I even look at the book, I just heard for some of you, take a vacation, or maybe you're going on a spring vacation with your family, and I'm hearing this is the time to do that. Take as much alone time as possible, even if you can, like one whole night to yourself, or even two, or maybe it's something you've been thinking about doing, and I'm hearing from Spirit, yes, 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 that would be really, really good for you. Also, let me see if they want me to go down a little bit. I'm hearing, there we go. Oh my gosh, they had me go down like that because do you see the light in there? Okay, so keep your eyes focused on that light on the card. It says, Sacred Seeker, take time away from people and situations. Step back, withdraw. Inner truth is emerging in stillness, but first you need to retreat. Know that you're guided. Look for your answers in different ways. The answers are around you. Watch for signs in the coming day and trust that your life is being directed. Your native spirit wants you to know it's earth-based cultures, larger questions about life are off. Oh, hold on. Let me start that over. It says, this is in the category of your native spirit wants you to know. And it says, in earth-based cultures, larger questions about life are often answered on vision quests or solar retreats in nature. Questions such as, who am I? And if you guys, if I remember, I'll put it below. Always look below for recommendations, reading recommendations. But I just did a reading on this a few moon cycles ago, I believe, where it was, who am I? And like, why am I here kind of thing, like, what's my purpose? So if you hadn't seen that reading, you may want to go check that out. Okay, so I was drawn to say that. So yeah, exactly. Who am I and what am I meant to do with my life? And what is my mission and my purpose in life? These were often answered on quests of various kinds. Even if you don't have burning questions, when this card chooses you, it's telling you to take time away from your ordinary life. It's telling you to take time to explore the depths of your soul. And it's telling you that your soul knows the truth. So take time and quietude to discover what it is. The answers to your questions are all around you, but you must be still to hear these messages. The journey is spend time alone, preferably in nature, without your cell phone and the internet, and even without pencil and paper or a book. Simply just be. Listen to the world around you. Be still. Watch for signs and open your heart to receive messages from the divine. Yes, and like I said in the beginning, if you didn't watch the messages from Spirit for the tribe for this, before this, it was really profound. I highly recommend you check it out. But yeah, I mean, that's exactly what they're saying to us right now, right? Is like taking a step back. There's a lot going on right now. The more you step back from everything, the more you will hear these messages from the divine. But if you're getting lost and, right now, a lot of people are getting, oh, by the way, I was called to say 1979. So either that's a year for you, the year you were born, or the year of something for you, or it could just be an angel number. So whatever feels good to you, 1979. Okay. Any more messages? Okay, here we go. Ooh, ego medicine. Wow, you guys. So there you go. I mean, ooh, sorry about that. Okay, so ego medicine. I mean, look at that. I mean, right there, the fact that you guys got, oh, by the way, I apologize. I live on a farm. I rent land in my tiny home on a 10-acre horse boarding farm. I spoke about it actually in the beginning of this, if you wanted to hear some updates on what's going on around here. So the last few days have just been super busy around here. We've got new chickens and a new horse. So we had people coming in here today. So I apologize if you hear any trucks or slamming of doors or whatever. There's nothing I could do. Where they're coming in is I'm on the back side of the farm. There's nothing I could do about it. So I apologize. But anyway, so for the ego medicine, it says, profound connection to the creator and the heavenly realms. I mean, yeah, like I was just about to say, the fact that you have Vision Quest and the Eagle Medicine, the Eagle Medicine doesn't mess around. If you chose pile number one, or I should say if pile number one chose you, if you were drawn to pile one, I mean, that's some serious medicine right there. The Eagle is the number one card, and look at the little feather floated over there. You know, right there, it's like Eagle Spirit Medicine. I mean, look that up. I'll put it in a recommendation in case you forget, but you just put in a search engine. Oh, look at it, move by itself. You just put in Eagle Spirit Medicine, and you want to put in Spirit Medicine because it's different. Spirit animal is wonderful, but when we're talking about the Native American tribes and the indigenous people, it's what they call spirit medicine, and it's a little more intense than just, you know, I feel like spirit animals are what they are and what their representation is, and I feel like the medicine is like their teachings, if that makes any sense. That's how I feel about it. You know, it's personal to everybody else, but for me, in my experience and working with them, that's what the medicine, quote unquote, feels like. So this says, as the eagle soars high above the earth, it has the ability to see things from a higher perspective. Courage and stamina are filling your life. You have the ferocity to right injustice and wrongs done to you or to others. This is the time to face fear and overcome it. That's really powerful. Yeah, because in your vision quest, this is the time to be like, okay, spirit, I know I'm special. We're all special, right? But like, I know that you brought me here to do this special thing that only I can do, right? Because even if you are a Reiki or a medium or a surgeon or a golf pro, I don't care what you know what I mean? You were put here to do something specifically with that. You were put here specifically to bring that quote unquote medicine, that teaching to others. So don't compare yourself to other people. Look at that eagle. You think that eagle is comparing himself to anything? No. I mean, come on. Look at this. I'm going to come in a little bit closer. No, why would the eagle compare itself to? It's the king of the skies. No bird can fly as high as the eagle. That's why they are the king of the sky, because they are the numero uno. You got the eagle medicine, and the fact, and I look at that was in there perfectly, and now it doesn't want to. It's like, you don't want to believe this is who you are, and that's okay, because you're still in that phase of disbelief, right? That, is this real? Is this really happening? And I'm like, all you need to do is look around the world right now to say, yeah, this is really happening. And you were brought here to help on this right now. The earth is in a huge transitional phase. Okay, so, oh, I just got the chills. So this is the time to face fear and overcome it. Your native spirit wants you to know that if the Eagle Medicine card has chosen you, you are at the advent of the opportunity, now listen here, to truly see life from a rarefied vantage point. Eagles are considered one of the most sacred of all birds in many tribes and cultures. Their single-minded fierceness, dynamic energy, and ability to soar high above are part of the reason for this. This card reminds you to take heart and face fear. You do indeed have the strength to overcome any adversity. You also have a direct line to the Creator. Your prayers are heard and will be answered in accordance with your highest good. You have the capacity to channel extraordinary life force energy through your hands. Yeah, I felt that earlier. Exactly, Reiki. I feel that really strongly. So, you know, it's like, just because so-and-so does this, it's like, it doesn't matter. You don't have to go by the book. Can I tell you something? I only took Reiki 1 because I literally heard from my spirit guides, like the rest of it was like bullshit for me. Like, I was a natural hands-on healer. I was a natural Reiki. My hands were always hot. In fact, it was my very first shaman who brought me to my Reiki. Her and her mother were teaching the Reiki sessions, that her and her mother both said, like, you are a natural. Like, this, before I was even attuned, she was showing us, you know, how to like work on her mom was on the table, right? And then she was like showing us like how to, you know, I don't remember how many of us were there. And some of you are in this tribe, you know, you were there with me. But the mom was like, oh, she like said to me, like, I want you to work on this part of my arm a little bit longer. I hadn't even been attuned yet. So then they were trying to sell me on Reiki 2 and Reiki 3, I think, whatever, and being a Reiki master. After they like told me I was a natural Reiki and a natural, they're like, yeah, but you really need to learn how to, and they were right. But I realized in that path, that wasn't my path. The Reiki was for me, and to help other people when I can, but that wasn't my path. It was for me to be able to heal myself and my family. But really, I was doing it anyway. It just kind of taught me how to plug in. Any of you can attune yourselves with Reiki, the Reiki energy, the healing energy. It's about focus. It's about meditation. It's about connection. And you'll know when it's time. But now they have, it's just like everything else. Oh, you need certificates, or it's like the government gets involved, or you know what I mean? So I understand, but eventually that kind of shit is not going to be there, right? Do you think that these tribes had, like, they knew from a young age, they're like, oh, look at this child has, like, right now my hands are really hot. They're like, do you think that they were like, oh, this child needs to, go to school and get a degree? No. That child went and studied with another shaman in the tribe who taught him how to use his gifts, right? Their gifts. So it's the same thing. It's just now we're on this mass, culture level. It's like, oh, I want to be this. Oh, I want to do this. I want to do this. You can do that, but that's not going to say you're the master at it. And maybe your hands-on healing is through massage. Maybe your hands-on healing is through food. Maybe your hands-on healing is through gardening. There's a lot of different ways to receive this medicine. So when you're in this rest and restore phase, talk to spirit, go on that vision quest. You could do a vision quest in 5 minutes, or you can do a vision quest in 5 years. It's different for everybody. This isn't a race. This isn't a competition. Right? And I was going to pull that away because all you can see is the vision back there, so you could see the quest. And they're like, no, it's not about that, because it's about the vision. It's about you connecting. It's about you having the higher perspective and the knowing that you were put here for something much greater than you can ever imagine. So go on an inner journey and imagine that you're an eagle. This is your journey. Feel the power of your wings, the clarity of your eyesight, and the power of your talons. As you do this, be aware of the energy of the majestic eagle filling you. Also, your homework is to look up the life, death, rebirth cycle of the eagle. It will blow your mind. They literally like have to rip off, like, I think their own beak, their own talent. Like, it's really grotesque, but also so cool and beautiful at the same time. And that's where we're at right now. We're in this really huge rebirth phase on the planet, and you are in your inner world too. So when you're going through this in your inner world and your outer world, and for some of you, you're already woke, like you're already practicing, Reikis or healers or whatever, it is in your job, chef, but now it's like really opening you up so that you can, like the eagle, see how wide open their wings are, for you to not just have your like flappity flap wings, but like your straight wing, you know what I mean, like straight out, because you're coasting, because you know exactly what your mission is. You're not flying towards whatever. You're high, you're like a superhero high up in the air right now looking down, because eagles can see down for I think 2 miles or something. I know, isn't that crazy? They can see a mouse 2 miles ahead, 2 miles from the ground. That's crazy to me, but it's amazing and beautiful, right? Because that's what they can do. So that's how you are. It's like you can see things other people don't see. You can feel things. You just know. You see a little bit of movement. You're like, bam, and you're on it. You're that person you want in an emergency. Like, I get that from spirit. Like, you're reliable. You're a good person. And I don't like to say, look, I'm a good person, but you know what I mean. Like, you're instinctively a good person. Like, because you're up here. Who can I help next? What can I do? And spirit's like, you know what though? What you need to do now is be in your own bubble so that you can bring back to us. Okay, so your mission, should you choose to accept it, your homework is to watch Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. When he talks about, he's like, bring back to us, when he's talking about, the Shiva Lingam, they're like their life source. It's interesting because we're talking about Native Americans, but that's in India, right? Which Indians, that's what that comes from, is India. So the East Indians, that they would say. So, but that, you know, for fun, maybe it's for fun, maybe it's for entertainment, maybe you're going to have an aha moment. Maybe your vision quest is just shutting the world out for an hour and getting your popcorn and, you know, whatever you want, whatever makes you feel comfortable and relaxed, and, you know, watching a movie by yourself in the dark. You know, who knows? It's different for everybody. So don't judge it. Okay, so the next card is, ooh, Spirit of Water. Nice. So if some of you were thinking about going to the water, this is a yes, 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 yes. So this is either for a sabbatical, or it could be a move for some of you. Maybe in your vision quest, you know, or maybe you're wanting to move, or you're just feeling like something's off and you're like, I'm not really sure where to go. Look at that light. Spirit's like, they're right there, right? Oh, yeah. There's nothing more beautiful than sunset over the ocean, right? You know, or maybe you've never seen it and you're like, I want to see the sunset over the ocean. And Spirit's like, well, then go. No one's telling you you can't go, right? This is your time. If you feel that that's where you're meant to be, then go, 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 go. If you're like, I've never been able to see the ocean and I want to see the ocean, I don't know why, but I feel wrong covering up that ego. Oh, I hear what they're saying. They're like, just slide it down. Okay. And you could see this back here too. I also think it's interesting that it almost feels like a representation of earth, air, fire, and water. I mean, I know everything in front of us has that effect, right? But like, you know, with like over here, the fiery sun, right? And like the dryness. And then we've got like this winter, almost feels like this, well, it's a mountain, right? So it's like a grounding energy. But then obviously we have the water. And then the air we have, you know, with the bird. So obviously when you're, and look at that, vision, ego, medicine, spirit, because now I was going to adjust it again because I was like, well, I don't want to cover up, you know, the word water. And they were like, no, in fact, I feel like they want me to move it over a little bit. So some of you, that's where you find your peace and your solace. So in this rest and restore phase, if you can get to the water, even for just an hour, whether it's a lake, a river, you know, ocean, whatever feels good. And if you can't get there, go take a bath. You know, maybe your vision quest is having a night to yourself with a nice glass of wine and candles and a bath. You know, whatever feels good to you. Let's hear what the card has to say though. And it says, trust your intuition. Yeah, of course, water, right? Intuition. Know that you're on the right path. Take time to nurture yourself. Allow your inner child free rein and believe in your dreams. Don't stifle your emotions. Trust the messages that they're giving you. Purify and cleanse yourself and your home. Healing is on its way. Emotional healing energy is expanding within you. Your native spirit wants you to know the spirit of water invites an emotional richness into your life. Communicate from your heart. Embrace your childlike wonder. This card also represents purification, cleansing, and healing. It reminds you to clean your personal space and your body. Yes, a nice little spring cleaning. It also urges you to accept and embrace your emotions, all of them, even the ones that you don't usually like. Look at them, be with them, sit with them, feel them. Additionally, trust your hunches. Push off from the shore of safety and enter the flow of life. All is well, right? Step out of your comfort zone. The journey is be aware of water in your life. Humidity, mists, clouds, rain, water, and food such as fruit, vegetables, and so forth. The ocean, the rivers, the bath, and the shower. Drink extra water. Energize it by placing your hand over each glass and sending love into the water. Evaluate your relationships. Notice how each encounter affects your subtle emotions. Take some daily time to relax, especially in or near water. Cleanse and purify yourself and your living space using water. Imagine how it would feel to be a still pool, a mountain stream, a mist, the great sea, or a summer shower. Notice any emotions or feelings that emerge as you do this and watch your dreams. It's also on page 100. So I feel like for you guys, yeah, like I feel like you're at the end of a cycle and the beginning of a new cycle. I feel like this new moon in Aries is going to be really powerful for you guys. I feel like the whole spring is going to be powerful for you, but definitely this is going to be an exciting time for you. Oh, what happened there? Oh, you know what? I burned it. I was like, what happened? I do this on accident. Sometimes I accidentally burn my cards. So I get too close to the fire. I'm so into it. Anyway, Warrior of the Heart. Oh, I pulled this card first too for myself. So I was excited to see if it would turn up for anybody else. So this may be my pile as well. Warrior of the Heart. And listen to that rooster medicine. If that calls to you, this is interesting that we've been having the rooster. They've got plenty of places to go, but lately they've been like coming over here during my readings. It doesn't matter what time of day. It's so, I mean, the last few times they've been coming out like a few hours later than now. You know what I mean? At the time I'm doing it now. So rooster spirit medicine, and obviously the polar bear medicine. So you've got the eagle, polar bear, and rooster. And I really, it's part, I'm going to put it here since we know the eagle is behind there. And also I feel like it was winter, right? And now the polar bear is going to take the, and it could be even for you guys, like, look at this. I feel like some of you may live in the desert too, or you've been wanting to go to the desert or live in the desert. Maybe you live in the winter and they're like, oh, poor warrior heart. Like they get that, like you're done. You're done with winter. You're done with snow. Like you're done with this. So I'm hearing, yeah, take a vacation, take a break. And it's interesting that in between here, we've got the, man, he won't stop. So look up, sorry. So you want to look up, I'm trying to the channel, but he won't shut up. And I mean that in a nice way. Sorry, Rooster Boy. I call him Rooster Boy because we lost one of our beloved roosters last year protecting the pack, protecting his hens from a pack of coyotes. But he saved them all. He gave his life, but he saved them all. Beautiful. Anyway, but we got this new one and he's almost a year old, and I call him Rooster Boy because was such a baby. And so he's like really coming into his own. So maybe that's a message for you guys too. Like, you know, you're really coming into your own, you know, like you're so close. And I feel like for some of you, you're either really, really close and it's right around the corner, or for others of you, like you're here, like it's here waiting for you. It's this vision quest that you're going to find all the answers. And, it's interesting because, okay, you want me to wait? I will. You want me to wait? Okay, so over the vision quest, they want me to put in the sacred mountain. So, because we're going to talk about that. But yeah, because this feels like, obviously over here, that's very southwest feel. And that is, I think, Machu Picchu, right? So, you know, we're talking about South America. So maybe for some of you guys, it's time to move to South America if you were thinking about it, or taking a vacation to South America. This one's interesting because now I feel like they want me to push this over and keep the polar bear there, but they do want you to see the sacred mountain. And that you are the warrior heart. You are the warrior heart. Okay, there's a lot coming through. So we're going to go to the warrior heart first. Oh, they actually want the warrior heart last. Oh, it's such a great card. You're going to love it. Okay, so let's go to this sacred mountain. So yeah, you just put in, he won't stop, but he just wants you to put in, you Google whatever search engine you like or whatever, and you put in rooster spirit animal, spirit medicine in this case, and find the teachings from the rooster. I think, yes, spirit medicine. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Because the rooster's been coming into a lot of our readings lately. So it was rooster spirit animal before, but now they're being very specific, because the Native American spirit medicine is a lot different than just your average spirit animal medicine, okay? And again, if I remember, I'll do it. If not, it's specifically just for some of you. Okay, so sacred mountain. Be still and take the time to move into the silent place within yourself. Locate your internal source of power. Meditate. Wait. Do not move forward until it feels right. Surrender to the stillness. Do not take action. If you observe rather than react, you claim your power. Your native spirit wants you to know that from the vantage point of the sacred mountain, your power grows. In silence, you'll find your sacred witness. It is the dwelling place of your soul. In peace, seek and discover your truth. Move past the bustle and clatter of life into sweet quietude. If you're in pain, don't lash out. Go into it until you find the source so that it can be healed. Resist the temptation to indulge in feelings of stress, urgency, and emergency. Your power is born in silence. This peace gives birth to your serenity. Seek solitude to listen to the voice of your higher self and awaken your inner wisdom. If you didn't watch, like I said, the one before this, you may want to see it, just because I spoke about what happened over the weekend with Chris Rock and Will Smith, and just how crazy but intense and awesome and horrible, and like every emotion we can all feel that came out of that, and how amazing, like, Spirit really gave us some really great medicine there. So I'm feeling that with you guys too. Like, don't lash out. We see now when someone reacts, instead of, like, taking a minute, he could have just as easily screamed that from his chair, what he screamed after he violated him. And, there's just so many things that could have happened and been done differently. And I feel like, this is the time that Spirit is really having us, like, look at ourselves, take a beat, take a moment. Just because, if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, just because, we just came off this heavy winter and you're like, okay, it's spring, I want to run out there. It's like, your body and your energy needs time to figure things out. And maybe you are thinking about going to South America. Maybe you are thinking about going to the West Coast or Florida or the Bahamas or wherever it is you're thinking about going. But you need to really have a plan before you go. And let me tell you from my own personal experience, I have moved 28 times and lived in 5 different states over 50 years. And I'm honestly so grateful for all of those experiences, but some of those were hasty. Some of those were well planned out, and some of those were hasty, and they were major life lessons. And that's the road that I chose, right? That was what I chose, because even though we have soul contracts here, we still have free will. So be mindful of where you're scattering your energy into the winds. It's really important now for you to do that. And it says the journey is travel to the peaks of hollowed mountains. And if you can't do this in person, travel in your meditation. Imagine yourself atop a high peak. You can see the world in all directions. Give thanks and offerings to mountains whenever you encounter them. The spirit of the mountain will deeply appreciate your gift. Yes, just like Spirit had me put, like, a nice little offering here. Oh, I didn't mean to do that, but okay. Just how they had me put that little offering there, it's the same for you. It's like when you're going to these places, bring like some trail mix or, something, and it's just a gift. It's a gift to the ancestors. It's a gift to Spirit, saying that you recognize that they are doing these things for you. Okay, the fact that it came forward, I'm going straight to the Warrior of the Heart. And it says, you have the radiant spirit of a warrior of the light. Be impeccable in all of your actions. No matter what others believe, the Creator always knows the truth. This isn't the time to be timid and pull back. Immense courage is filling you. Throw your shoulders back, step forward, and take a risk. Be willing to live your life from your heart rather than your mind. Honor your truth and speak up for yourself. Your native spirit wants you to know the greatest native warriors weren't the ones who wounded the most people. They were those remarkable beings who had such personal power that enemies laid down their weapons rather than fight. There are times in life to step back and even times to walk away, but there are also times to stand up for yourself and those less advantaged. Don't allow yourself to be limited by your belief system. Courage doesn't mean that you aren't afraid. Fearless means just that. Fear less. Acknowledge that you're frightened and then take action anyway. Face your anxiety and go beyond the boundaries of limited perceptions of yourself. Through your example, people find and act on their truth. You're a light bearer for others. The journey is list everything that you're afraid of. Then next to that list, write every reason why it's important to overcome that fear. In other words, what does that fear cost you? Then make a list of the various ways that you can overcome that fear. Yes. There's nothing to be afraid. We've been raised to believe that fear is this horrible, like that we shouldn't go for our dreams or what we want. And that beautiful polar bear is telling you, warrior, I got your back. So look up polar bear spirit medicine. Rooster Spirit Medicine and Eagle Spirit Medicine. I hope these messages helped you in any way. I love you guys so much. And again, thank you for all the donations that have been coming in. I really appreciate you. And I love that. And a shout out to some of you that are like, I know it's only $5. I'm like, $5 is a lot. I understand. To some people, $5 is a lot, but I take that to heart. And I say, thank you so much. I appreciate that. And I appreciate you. There is no gift too small or too great when we are honoring ourselves in spirit. Until the next reading, I love you guys so much. All of the information is in the description box below, and I'll see you next time. Blessed be. Aho. Welcome, pile number 2. If you chose this pile, you chose the trickster, which is a coyote. Coyote is your spirit animal. You want to research that on your own. And in this case, I'm going to urge you to actually look up the specific words. Coyote. Oh, it's been doing that ever since I started your pile. You're the first pile that the lights have been flickering for, so you're really powerful. But I want you to look up, or Spirit wants you to look up Coyote Spirit Medicine. There are spirit animals, yes, but then they also bring us medicine, teachings. That's what medicine, when you hear spirit medicine, that's what it means. It's like spirit teachings, okay? Yeah, so I'm gonna go right into the book because not only was I downloading so much different information for this pile, but also I am feeling like some of you have some loved ones that are coming through that want to speak to you. And so I just want to make sure, you know, that I'm channeling properly. Also, the other piles, it wasn't, the setup was a little bit differently. So I don't have good eyesight. I'm like, I don't see any from here, but if you see any cat hairs, I apologize. Bubba does like to hang out in my spot. Sometimes I'll look back at a video and I'm like, how did I not see that? And I'm like, because my eyesight isn't as good as it used to be. Anyway, so let's hear what the trickster has to say for you guys. Things are not as they seem. Something that seems bad, quote unquote, may be in fact good, quote unquote, and vice versa. Don't take everything at face value. Look beneath the surface now. This card encourages you to try to find humor or gentle amusement in seemingly difficult situations. It also encourages you to have irrepressible fun. Step out of the mold and your comfort zone. Your native spirit wants you to know, in indigenous traditions, there is the concept of the tricksters. In Native American traditions, the trickster is often depicted as a wily coyote, but sometimes the trickster is a human called Heyoka. There is a light-hearted fun aspect of the trickster, but there's also the caution to tread carefully because things are not always as they seem. Be discerning. And discerning is it's something that's been coming up a lot, and not just my readings, but in other teachings and readings that I myself have been watching or reading. So, and discernment is just like, you know, when people are like, you're my friend, right? We're friends, right? And you're like, but if your like little red flag is like, you're not really my friend. You know, some people are very good at manipulating. And if you're an empath, a lot of times empaths and narcissists are attracted to each other. It's like this, it seems like a match made in quote unquote hell. HE double hockey sticks. Just so crazy because you guys know I swear like a sailor, but it's like one of my little spirit guides right now. She's such a sweet little fairy angel. She said it's so cute, like she doesn't like to swear. I love you. Oh, she's so cute, Stephanie. But you know, it's like there's a lot of aspects to that energy. Do you understand? And so that's what the trickster wants you to start really being, letting your, if you've got flags going off anywhere, if you've got something in your belly, and you know, if there's bees running around your bonnet and you're like, I know something doesn't feel right here, you're right. And it may look pretty on the outside, right? The trickster, it might look really nice. You know, it's like, do you ever hear that old saying, if it sounds too good to be true or looks too good to be true, it probably is? Well, that's not 100% accurate. Sometimes something is exactly what it is, and it's that awesome and that beautiful because it's meant for you and it's time and everything's great. Other times, we are tempted to go astray. That's why we have a quote unquote good and bad and light and dark. That's why it's here. Earth is a school, it's a training ground for our souls. We get to play in these fun little avatars and play in these lives, and we could do whatever we want here. It's just we've been in this repressive society for thousands of years, being controlled by made up religions and belief systems and things that are just, you know, I mean, I just remember as a child, like, I literally remember saying to my mother as a child, that the God that I believed in wouldn't, like, because I was afraid, like I was taught to be afraid of God, just like I was taught to be afraid of my parents, right? I'm gonna get a whooping, something's gonna happen, something bad's gonna happen, I better do as I'm told, I better, you know. And so that kind of programming and that branding into our psyche, it's hard to come out of. So, you know, the trickster's also here to say to you, like, well, come have fun with me. Like, step out of that rigid, like, wherever you are that doesn't feel right, then get out of it. Also, do you notice how that fire is behind the trickster? You can see the flame back there, right? We're at the end of Pisces season. When Spirit was talking about making love out of nothing at all, it's not about sex. This is about us realizing that we are the love bringers. We are the ones that are here to say, hey, that's not cool. We're here to call people out on their bullshit. If you didn't watch the messages from Spirit at the beginning of this, and from the ancestors, I highly recommend you go back and watch it. I mean, it really, like, the whole Chris Rock, Will Smith thing fueled that, and it was so intense, and it's been fueling so many things on the planet right now. There's just so much. I mean, it's overwhelming. So I highly recommend you go back and watch that. But this energy that you're going through right now, it's because you're still in this emotional Pisces energy. So whether you're in the northern hemisphere or southern hemisphere, because I know we have both in this tribe, you know, in the northern hemisphere, we just came off of winter and we're going into spring, and it's really hard to transition into that, just like it's hard to transition from summer to fall, right? Like, you know, it's like summer's good, it's good, it's good, and then all of a sudden that cold breeze, that one cold breeze, right? If you live in a 4-season climate, right? And then you know it, you just know it, you're like, yep, summer's over. You feel it, you know it, and it's like, you may get a pop here and there, but it's not going to be, there'll be no more warm nights, there'll be no, you know. And there's something that goes with that, the ending of something. So I feel like you guys, you're mourning the ending of something. Also, when I looked down, it was 1 hour, 11 minutes, and 19 seconds, which comes out to the number 13. So I'm feeling a lot of magic and magician energy that, you know, you can easily manipulate people just as people can easily manipulate you. And, you know, that's because of your empathic energy. I feel really heavy empath energy here from this pile. And, you know, the narcissist, my husband is a self-proclaimed narcissist, and it has taken us, it'll be almost 7 years. We have gone through a lot together, and I didn't realize, like, how narcissistic I was too. We all have it in us. It's natural. We have ego. If we didn't have ego, we wouldn't care whether we lived or died. We need some ego to survive. But just ego has been trampled on and been manipulated and all these things, right? So you chose the feathers. If you chose pile 2, you chose the feathers, right? So light as a feather, stiff as a board, you know, that, like, magic, levitation. You guys have some serious magical skills. I'm feeling Harry Potter. I'm feeling fairy energy. I'm just feeling a lightheartedness around you. And the trickster is saying, like, you know, I almost feel like this is you too. Like, you're out by yourself because you don't even want to be around anyone anymore because you just don't trust people. I feel like you guys have some, that isn't for everybody, but I feel like for some of you, you really have a hard time trusting people. And that's okay. You know, I've been there. I understand that. But what really helped me with that was going inward and starting to recognize those red flags, starting to realize, like, when people are like, hey, we're the same, right? Like, and you get this vibe and they feel really good and they are awesome, right? And they probably are a really great person. But they haven't healed something, right? Because something inside of them is trying to manipulate you or your energy, right? Like the succubus, right? They're stealing, those emotional vampires that are stealing that energy from you. And as empaths, you know, if this resonates with you, and if you don't know what an empath is, I highly recommend you go and look it up. It's EMPATH. Go and research that. Most likely you're an empath. And there are different, you know, I don't even know if I'd say levels of empaths, but some empaths, I'll be like, well, doesn't this happen for you? They're like, no. And I'm like, but like for me, I was like, oh, wow, I feel this, I feel that, you know. So it's just like the clairs, right? Claircognizant, clairvoyant. We all have different parts of our gifts, our magic. But for you guys, I feel that really strong human, you know, bullshit barometer that I always say about myself. I'm a human bullshit barometer. Like, you can't lie to me. You just can't lie to me. And if you're like that too, where you just know and you're like, I just know it. And feel free to comment below, right? It's okay. You're not tooting your own horn. That's who you are. It's not tooting your horn if that's what you are. You know what I mean? It's like, be proud of what you are. Be proud that you can smell out a fucking trickster, you know? And you can tell, like, my mom was like that. My mom, I could bring somebody home and I would be in love with them, right? Because they would maybe take me shopping or whatever, and I would learn something new, or whatever, you know, whatever it is. And then I would go home and my mom would meet them and they would leave, and I'd be like, so what do you think? She'd be like, I don't like her. I don't trust her. And I'd be like, why? I love her. She's awesome. My mom's like, no, she's a little scammer and she's a little, you know, blah, blah, blah. There was quite a few of my friends. And the interesting thing is every time my mom said that, every one of those fucking friends fucked me over. Every one of them. But we're all the villain in someone's story. I've fucked someone over too at some point, right? Because if my ego took over, if I wanted something and I left somebody in the lurch, right? And then something bad happened to them, that's on me, right? So we are all the villain and we are all the hero in someone's story. Just be mindful and discerning, feeling. And if you don't know what discernment is, look it up. So, and I'm even going to, do they have it here? DISCERNING. I thought that's how, but I just want to make sure. So the journey is, no, hold on. They want me to reread this. The wonderful aspect of this card choosing you is that it offers the opportunity to step out of the old, outmolded ways of perceiving yourself. The trickster allows you to see yourself in an entirely new way and asks you to step out of your old routines and habits that might be keeping you stagnant. The journey is, it might sound very strange, but the easiest way to activate the energy of this card is to howl like a coyote. If you can, it's even better to do it during the light of the full moon. This breaks up stagnant energy and brings in fresh vitality. Yes! And when I looked down, it was 1628. So if that angel number resonates with you, or those numbers, and I mean it, do not care what anybody says. Go outside and be like, oh, you know, I mean, I don't know well, actually, I think the coyotes, that's more of a wolf. I think the coyote, well, I should know, they're out here all the time. They're more like, oh, I don't know. I can't. Well, look it up. But channel the coyote energy, channel the coyote medicine. All right, let's see. What's our next card, Spirit? What's our next card? I feel like they're having me kind of pick up the pace. Hold on. What's our next card? Anything else in the trickster? There's something else they want me to recognize. Hold on before we pull another card. They're having me look at the card. Also, I'm hearing that part of this is you succumb to certain things like the narcissism, the whatever, because of depression. Because it's easier. And Spirit's saying, you know what? You're walking out of the winter phase of your life. So it doesn't matter if you're in the northern or southern hemisphere. You are walking out of the winter phase of your life and into spring, into something new. And that's what the coyote wanted to show you. No more. No more putting up with people's bullshit. This is your story. This is your life. And other people don't get to dictate how you live. Sorry, I just knocked my thing over. You know what I mean? Like this is your story. So I'm going to put this back here. So the coyote will be there watching your back. Okay. So I knew there was something else, because when they don't let me pull a card, I know there's something else. Okay. Then the next one is, ooh, medicine bag. Interesting. Yes, I'm wearing a medicine bag right now. Okay, medicine bag. Beautiful. Look at the waterfall in the background. They're having me put this here. And look at how the coyote's walking towards the medicine bag. They wanted me to point that out, okay? So while that is there, I'm going to bring up the medicine bag card. And it says, gather your resources. Look at how the light's on the M. Gather your resources. Be discerning. Another thing that says discerning. I mean, the second card says discerning. Obviously, this is a pattern. Stop allowing people into your world. Not everybody is your best friend. Vast inner power is growing in your life. Step back and let it grow. There are times to shine brightly for all to see, and there are also times to choose carefully who sees your true self. Choose wisely. Do not make hasty decisions. If it doesn't feel right, hold back. You're protected from any less than positive outside influences. Your capacity and potential are growing in leaps and bounds. Your native spirit wants you to know it's traditional and indigenous cultures to carry a medicine bag or medicine bundle as a form of protection, and also as a way to access your personal power through the sacred objects that are held in them. The items in the medicine bag each contain potent qualities that allow one's abilities to magnify and also help one commune with the Creator. As your power grows, take time to protect it, just as you protect a seedling in the early months, and then later, once it's an established tree, it can withstand the storms of time. Protect your growing power, and it will become as mighty as an ancient oak. The journey is, consider obtaining or creating your own medicine bag or bundle. She has a book called I'll put this down. She has a book called Kindling the Native Spirit for it's called Kindling the Native Spirit. So I'll put it down in the box below in the reading recommendations. Okay. Did you guys see that? You guys are the only one that has had this energy. You guys can talk to me. Anybody wants to come through, it's fine. Okay, okay, so put objects in it that are meaningful to you and make you feel strong and vital whenever you look at them or hold them. Traditionally, one's medicine bag was not worn for display, but often hidden from view or kept in a sacred place. Yes, like only once in a while, Spirit will have me wear my medicine bag like on the outside of me. And that's when I know I'm like going into a situation where I'm like, okay, like that's kind of like my armor. So, but everything in my medicine bag was gifted to me by very powerful shamans. Like my shaman actually made my medicine bag for me. She walks the old way. We're both Cherokee. And so I walked with her for 2 years, and she made me this medicine bag, and she had collected all these things over our journey. It was really powerful. And so it's so sacred to me. So it's the same for you, you know, put in there things that are sacred, that feel good. You know, or like, you know, seedlings, like little shells, or like a seed, you know, like actual seeds. Like I have corn, like I have like an heirloom corn seed in there. You know what I mean? Like things like that. But it's personal to everybody. It's really personal, and you can research it more. Research medicine bag, you know, because you want to put in there what feels right to you, and we all walk different paths, right? So the journey is, oh no, we got that. Okay. So there's that. Let's see. What other messages do we have for pile number 2, Spirit? Do we have any more messages with the medicine bag card? Not at this time. Okay. So answering the call. Wow. So there you go. Answering the call. And look at that. Spirit asked me, look at the rainbow there. But look at how, and look at the water, the mountains. I almost feel like I picture you guys, like, you know, like sitting, like you hiked the mountain and you're looking above this, and then that comes out and you're like, oh my gosh. And Spirit's like, yep, you did it. You did it. You're blessed. You worked hard. Now it's time. I mean, the fact that we have, I'm going to pull this back a little bit. The fact that we have answering the call, the trickster, and medicine bag is like, what? You know, I mean, I've always said this about our tribe, you know, that we've got some powerful, powerful healers here. There's no doubt in my mind about that. But also, it ain't easy being green, man. I'm an empath myself, and people are like, "Oh, I get it. I'm an empath too." And then I'll look at them and I'm like, maybe you are. I'm not going to tell you you're not. Like, I'm not going to tell somebody who they are or who they're not. But there are some of us that it is a lot harder for us to be here. It is a lot harder for us to be alive. We are affected by everything, scents, smells, like this, like that the light is, like something like that. And when you're that sensitive, it's a greater responsibility because, wherever you come from, Earth isn't 100% comfortable for you, right? And look at that. I wanted to show answering the call. I was going to lift the card and they said, nope, it's answering. So we got trickster, medicine bag, and answering. So it says, you've been called. If you've been waiting for your life to shift, the waiting is over. And didn't I say, I felt like you guys are like at the end of something, beginning of something. Yes, this is powerful. This is really powerful, you guys. Your true and authentic life is happening. If you've been hoping for a sign, this is it. Right now, your spirit guides, ancestors, and loved ones who have passed on are sending you messages of love and healing. You've been called, and a gateway is opening for communications from these spiritual realms. Now and in the days ahead, signs from spirit will be all around you. Watch for them. Your native spirit wants you to know that indigenous people look to the clouds, the winds, and the movement of animals to discern. Oh my gosh, you guys, that's the third card that has discern. Powerful. Powerful. Oh, I'm so proud of you. This is amazing. You guys are amazing. Let me just, I'm like, Mama needs a smelling salt. Hold on, I need to take a sip of water. That was really intense. Are you feeling it? Are you feeling it, pile 2? Are you feeling it? You guys are so powerful. Okay. Woo! The indigenous people look to the clouds, the winds, and the movement of animals to discern the secret messages from the Creator. In Native traditions, life is ruled by signs. Right now, your spirit helpers are telling you that this is your time. The waiting is over. Sometimes we spend so much time waiting for life to happen that we miss the joy in the moment. Cherish the here and now and know that no matter what concerns you may have, in the deepest sense, you are ready. Believe. Follow the signs and miracles will abound. Your time is now. The journey is, look for signs. They are all around you. The feather that alights at your feet, the penny that mysteriously appears, or the rainbow splashed across the sky may be a sign that spirit is trying to get your attention. Watch your dreams. Messages from spirit are often conveyed in the nocturnal hours. Okay, so we have 2 more messages. You want them at the same time. Okay. Oh, wow. Okay. All right, so we have, I'm going to show them side by side so you can see them. So we have Spirit Keeper of the East and Grandmother Earth. And I am hearing right now, before we even move forward, you guys, and if this, I always say, if this breaks off into 2 videos, you know how to find it. And I always keep the link there. I don't have fancy equipment. I'm kind of old school. This is my phone. Anyway, so listen, this is it. If you already know your calling, that's awesome. And that was your sign. If you want to even leave now, go ahead. But if you are still here, it could be that you're not 100% sure what your gifts are. So that's why Spirit had me bring these in. So we're going to put this Grandmother Earth over to the right. And we have the Spirit Keeper of the East to the left. Okay. So you are spirit, which is, again, I'm like, oh, but you can't see spirit. But they're saying because you are spirit embodied. You are spirit embodied. And that's why the flame is on keeper. You are the keeper of the East, the keeper and East. So East means something either. So let me, you know what, I'm going to go to it because I feel like there's a lot of different energies that are trying to talk to me right now. And I'm like, whoa, okay. So new beginnings, a fresh cycle is occurring in your life. Wipe the slate clean. It's now time to release the old and start again. No matter what has happened in the past, it doesn't need to repeat in the future. Your native spirit wants you to know, in native traditions, the directions are honored. It's believed that every direction has an associated spirit that can be called upon in the great cycle of life. The East is the place of the rising sun. It's also associated with planting seeds in the springtime, birth, the waxing moon, and new beginnings. Pulling this card means that this is the close of one cycle and the beginning of another. Although it's often difficult to release familiar routines, situations, or relationships when they no longer empower you, your native spirit asks that you do not cling on to the old, but set sail into new waters. Face your fear and allow yourself to stretch in a new direction. Wonderful opportunities will be born in your life. And what I heard for you guys, when I was reading the part about the East, I was reading, but I was also speaking to Raphael. So Raphael came in. Raphael is the archangel of the East of healing. So if you're not sure what to do, it's in the healing arts. And the East is different for all of you guys. So I am not getting a definitive, even also it's, if you look, it almost looks like the bottom of the E on East is covered. And I keep seeing like keeper and like fast. And so I feel like it's going to happen really fast, whatever this is. Like, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, you're going to be like, oh, I didn't even realize, and remember that it's I just got the chills all over my body. You can, if you're not even sure what it is, look up. I just heard to research healing arts. Two different words, healing and arts. And then it'll show you like a plethora of things, and just let your mind wander. How I even like really woke up was when my roommate had a book and it said, HSP, the highly sensitive person. And I was like, oh, what's that book? And she goes, oh, you should read that book. She goes, that's totally you. You're so sensitive. And that's how I realized I was an empath. And I was like, oh my gosh. So, there are many ways that you can heal people from, in different modalities, through painting, through, writing. You can send people healing energy. You don't even have to touch them. You guys have very rare gifts. There's the medicine bag, I feel like, is just like a bag of tricks. Like, you guys got them all. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many different energies and different healing arts in this pile. So I really don't want to say more than that. And also, they're pointing over to the right of the grandmother card. So it could be, I'm hearing like a grandmother energy. Maybe it was something you used to do with your grandmother, planting flowers, making food. I'm feeling I knew something was coming through. Oh my gosh, my whole body is like, whoa. So yeah, I'm definitely feeling a grandmother energy here. For some of you, but it feels like something like I'm seeing giggling in the kitchen, making stuff. Like, maybe you love to bake, pies. And let me tell you something. Spirit has got my husband and I addicted to Hallmark movies, and I don't care what anyone says. They're lovely because they open up your mind, they open up your heart. Yeah, they're cheesy in some parts, and yeah, they're, it's like not everybody lives in those perfect little bubbles in those towns, but it's not about that. It's about if you want to live in that town, you can. If you want a society like that, like, it's about looking beyond. Look at how on either side of you, you've got sun. Is that the sun rising, or is that the sun setting? It's like, obviously in the east, the sun rises in the east, so that's the east. Grandmother Earth, that could be rising, that could be, going down in the west. So it doesn't have, it doesn't say that they wanted specifically that card, but I don't remember if they talk about it being in the west. But it could be east for you guys, it could be west, it could be east coast, it could be west coast, depending on where you live, which, so I don't want to, that's the furthest I'm going to go with that. Okay. Hold on one second. Let me see. What did you say, Spirit? Okay. So yeah, Spirit is saying, because no matter what has happened in the past, it doesn't need to repeat into the future. They want me to reread this part. Your native spirit wants you to know that in Native traditions, the directions are honored. It's believed that every direction has an associated spirit that can be called upon. In the great cycle of life, the east is the place of the rising sun. It's also associated with planting seeds in the springtime, birth, the waxing moon, and new beginnings. So call on Archangel Michael of the East to work with you. When you're saying, Raphael. Say, Raphael, can you please help me? And offer him something. That's why Spirit brought this in. They like our little offerings. You know, it's like, are they going to eat it in physical form? No. But it's just like hey, this came from the earth. Thank you for blessing me. Thank you for giving me, life and for helping me through this task. And just lighting a candle for them. I light the candles for the angels too. They're just like us, right? You're just sending like a prayer out into the universe to give them, we're all part of each other. So this says, pulling this card means that this is the close of one cycle and the beginning of another. Although it's often difficult to release familiar routine situations or relationships when they no longer empower you, your native spirit asks that you not cling to the old, but set sail into new waters. Yeah, the only way that you're going to find this is to release whatever you thought you were or whatever you were going to do. And I don't care. Like, I remember one of our tribe members one time, they're like, I spent X amount of dollars. It was a lot of money. They're like, I just spent money on this thing. And Spirit's it's saying I shouldn't do that. I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry. And they're like, I can't get my money back. I'm like, I'm sorry that you did that. It sucks. It's like, those are our life lessons. But, it's like, well, I'm going to still do it. It's like, well, you can do whatever you want, right? Like, some people are like, oh, I'm still going to do it because I spent the money on it. But then if you keep going in certain cycles, and you're wondering why you're ending up at the same spot, that is why you're ending up at the same spot. Because if you're refusing to move forward and you're clinging to something that Spirit is telling you to your face is not good for you, but you're still going to do it anyway, you know what I mean? It's like, then you're telling Spirit that you know better than your higher self. You know better than, you know what I mean? And that's your free will. And you can do that. But you have what it takes. Don't be afraid. The journey says, stand and be still, breathe and center yourself, then slowly turn in a circle. Close your eyes and feel the energy of each direction. There's a difference in the feeling in each direction. Stand facing east as the sun rises to sense the unique energy of that direction, right? So stand facing east of the sun. Wake up one morning, like before, like look on the Farmer's Almanac in your area and be like, when is the sunrise going to be? And wake up a little early that day and maybe go to your favorite hiking spot, or if you live by a mountain or water or something like that, and take that special day for yourself. Maybe it's your day off, maybe it's before a difficult day, and watch the sunrise, right? Stand there, facing as the sun rises to sense the unique energy of that direction. Because there is a newness about it. There's something about, like, wow, like, thank you, Spirit. Thank you for another day. I get to look my eyes upon another sunrise and another, hopefully, sunset, right? Hopefully you make it through that day, right? Because the next moment's not promised to us. So the Grandmother Earth card says, stop and take measure of your life. Assess who you are and where you are. Get grounded. Make plans for the future, but don't act on those plans until you are ready and feel secure and stepping forward. There is a profound source of strength and power within you, and it is expanding now. Put your roots down. This is the time of preparation and going deeper. Your native spirit wants you to know Grandmother Earth provides the trees, plants, flowers, rivers, streams, oceans, mountains, and valleys, and supports us all with her beautiful bounty. She's stable and strong in her devotion to us. You are supported and loved even if you're not always sure of it. Strength is growing within you. Don't rush. Slow down. The seeds that you plant now will bring abundance in the future, but only if you take the time to nurture those new beginnings. Take time to plan your future carefully. Don't rush into anything. Security and protection surround you. You are safe. If you're thinking of making secure financial investments and receive this card, it's telling you that this is a good time to do so. It's not a time to take risks, though. The journey is to deepen your connection to Grandmother Earth and bring security in all forms into your life. Walk barefoot on the earth and place your hands on the earth, or make investments. Plant seeds, right? You guys, really start your own food even. Imagine the strengthening, grounding energy of the earth filling you and your life. It's also on page 57, which is the number 12, and also the number 3. Whew, so those are your messages. I hope they helped you in any way, my beautiful pile 2. And if you would like to go further into this, if some of you are still struggling and you need some more answers, feel free to reach out to me. I do readings. I do readings. But for 30 minutes, it's $55. And for an hour, it's $100. Or if you'd like a recorded reading, it's $50. And that's, nice because I never know like what's going to come through or whatever. Sometimes they're 20 minutes, sometimes they're like an hour and a half. It's really cool. So if you're interested in that, you can email me at themagicalmedium@gmail.com. All of my information is in the description box below. Also, if you'd like to donate to this tribe through Oracle, Tarot decks, or through Cashola. Thank you so much for being here. I love you so much. You got this. Take this time to rest and restore because that new moon in Aries is coming right around the corner. And no matter when you watch this, they're timeless. So, really think about what just happened in the last moon cycle, what worked, what didn't, what you need to leave behind. And now it's time to move forward. Put those intentions out on this new moon. I love you guys so much. I'll see you next time. Blessed be. Oh. Welcome, pile number 3, you beautiful angels. Hi, you guys. Oh, this camera's moved around. Things have moved around in the picture, and I was like, wow, yours is so pretty. I was like, I love this. I mean, they've all been cool, but ooh, that life spiral, the rosemary. If you chose pile number 3, you chose the rosemary. You were drawn to the life spiral. You guys are old fairy magic, old angel magic. Like, there's a lot of different, if you're called to some other piles, I highly recommend you look at those as well. But rosemary is a really powerful protection. A lot of cultures burn rosemary for protection. They also hang rosemary over their doorways, their windows. I do it. And it's one of the most powerful protectors. Also, rosemary essential oil, if you have essential oil, really powerful to burn as well. Or to, put in your food. To keep in you. It's kind of like if you guys are familiar with like werewolves and vampires, like we're totally into that show Legacies right now. I love those. I just love them because they're shapeshifters, right? We're all shapeshifters. We all, again, if you're drawn to any other files, we talked about that too. Go check them out. But it's like vervain. It's like, it really is. It's like, rosemary is kind of like a vervain. If you eat it, keep it around you, near you, it just wards off negative energy. So that was like the first message right out the gate I wanted to tell you from Spirit. Our first card, oh, you guys, you beautiful, powerful, I knew it, Ancient Forest. Yes. I've been going through this with Spirit about old souls and like what they believe or what their take on old souls means. Actually, I think I'm going to pull this up here right now. And what I got from Spirit was that an old soul is just somebody who is awake, who understands that, we come from somewhere else, and that Earth is this beautiful training ground, and that we were given, Gaia, Sandalphon, Uriel, these very grounded earth energies, these goddesses, these angels and archangels, these entities that are tied to the earth. And if you're really into that, I also heard Kali Ma for you. Like, if you're a defender of the earth, you're a defender of people, you're a defender of animals, you're always protecting people, that's just part of your soul DNA. You can't help it. It's like, yeah, you're like, that to me is what an old soul is that we understand and respect that there are other galaxies, other planets, that there are other planets doing things just as, very similar to what we're doing here on Earth. But Earth is very precious, and I don't know about the other solar systems in terms of the depth of their beauty and magnificence and the organism factor, but I do know that Earth is one. There's a reason why we are here to protect it. It's because it's beautiful. It's because it's ancient. It's because it is unlike any other planet, and other, forms of life like to come here and steal their resources and manipulate, the system, and manipulate people. And you guys see beyond that, right? Again, if you're pulled to any other piles, I highly recommend it. But, my human bullshit barometers, I'm one too. We fight for justice. We know, like we sense when, when something's wrong, and we call it out and we say, I don't think so. I don't think so. I feel you guys are really old medicine. That's why this light is shining through here, right? Like, it doesn't matter what the forest looks like. It's like that light is still there. Let me see if I can get a visual. I don't know if it'll go any darker. See that? I just went a little bit darker. It doesn't matter how dark that forest is. We're always going to be able to see the light. We're always going to be able to find our way out of the forest, right? We're always going to listen to the messages that Spirit gives us. So the ancient forest card says, your roots go deep. Incredible, radiant, healing strength is available to you and grows within you. Do not doubt your abilities. You are so much more than you can possibly imagine. There's immense, unseen, but very real support around you. You are loved and cherished. You are grounded, stable, and strong as your spirit reaches high into the heavens. And Spirit said, even if you're not feeling that right now, they know that's who you are essentially. So don't doubt yourself because you're feeling a little bit low. Maybe you're coming off the, winter season, or if you're in the southern hemisphere, you're, going into fall and you love summer and you're like, I don't want to be cold. I love being warm. It's letting go. It's the cycles of the earth. It's about going. And even if you live in a climate where the seasons never really change that much, you still feel it. You still understand it. You still appreciate that things have to ebb and flow. You understand the circle of life. You understand it, right? That's why the life path, that's why this is here right now, because you understand that. And they say your native spirit wants you to know that throughout the world, those in indigenous cultures revere what are called the tree people. The powerful life force of trees can bring healing, strengthening, and grounding energies. The kind of tree might vary from culture to culture, but the reverence and gratitude for its beneficial energies are the same. The ancient forest is alive with nature's spirits. Additionally, each tree has an individual spirit especially powerful and resilient. The forest can survive the harshest conditions because of the mutual support of the spirit of the entire forest as a whole. Your greatest strength is silent and deep. It doesn't need a show of force. It just is. Inner power is found through contemplation, reflection, and meditation. Sometimes it comes from times of growth and change. Other times it springs from surviving and conquering painful situations. Oh, I feel you, beautiful souls. The journey is adopt a tree. It could be one in your very own yard or in a nearby park or wilderness area, just one that calls to you. Talk to that tree, sit with that tree, touch its bark, give thanks, and by doing so, you create an energy connection that will continue to nurture you. No matter how far away you are from your special adopted tree, you can still bring their energy in. Also, I heard from Spirit, pick something up from that fell from the tree, whether it's an acorn or a leaf or a twig or something, anything, a branch, and bring it home with you and keep it in your, your sacred space on your altar. This is definitely going to go to a second video. I get this feeling from Spirit. And when this does this, now I'm starting to understand why they're doing this. And thank you to one of our tribe members who Spirit said that before, but I wasn't sure. I was like, I might just say that to make myself feel better. But they said the same thing. They used their intuition and they said, no, Spirit does that for a reason. And I always feel like the last pile is like my really like intense pile, like whether it doesn't matter, like we're all in different levels of consciousness. So it's not about better or worse or more powerful. It's not about that. It's just about like there's, maybe this is all you needed to hear right now. And then part 2 will be for, whatever. So if you are drawn to go to the second part, then you're meant to go there because there's more medicine for you there. And again, it's like, don't look for something that's not there. You may go and listen to it, but if it doesn't resonate with your story, it's not meant for you. Okay. So the next card we have is Thunder Drum. Oh yes, I was excited about this. I saw this one fall out and I was so excited. I didn't know exactly. I forgot about it actually and whose pile it was going to be. This pile, you guys, I am telling you right now, you are meant to be a leader of a drum circle. The second I saw this card, I was like, oh my gosh. So either you go, look at that, look at Spirit telling you, and you do have the power to do it. And also have a drum made. I know they're expensive. Look for one first, or maybe somebody who can lend you one if you don't have any money at all, but you can still, you can thump yourself. You can take a bucket and turn it over. You know what I mean? But obviously it'd be nice if you have a beautiful, handmade drum, especially from the Native American cultures, because the animals give themselves, they give their hide. You know what I mean? It's not like somebody's like torturing an animal to put it out there, especially in the indigenous medicine, when there's animal products involved, that is the animal sacrificing its life. Cause they're like, look I've got this beautiful hide. I've got this, I've got these bones. I've got this, whatever. It's like, and they're gifting them. So don't just go to any place and have a drum made or buy one online or Amazon. You know what I mean? It's like, this is sacred. Also look up drum circles. if you've never been a part of one, if you are part of one, I'm hearing it's time for you to start your own. This is your path. This is a really powerful path for you, because I'm hearing that you're a web weaver. Like it's your path to bring people and cultures together in all different forms. Or I should say of all different, backgrounds. So like maybe you've got some, Christian folk in your family. Maybe you've, whatever it is. Especially I heard if you have musicians in your family. Absolutely. Without, okay, so let me just see if they want, I thought I heard them say they wanted me to pull another card. No, they just want me to read this one. Okay, so I'm going to read the Thunder Drum. I love, 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 love this card. You're going to love this card. And I'm so proud of you because honestly, I feel like, oh, I just got the chills. Okay. I'm just going to shut up. Okay. So the card meaning, let me make sure it's in focus because I forget to do that sometimes. And I'm feeling, again, we want to go down a little bit. We want to go down a little bit. Yeah. So you can see that thunder and lightning. See how he's calling, or they, whoever they are calling in the energy of spirit. And it says, stand up and be counted. Be assertive. Don't be shy about sharing your gifts and letting the world know about your value. Declare with authority, this is who I am and this is what I stand for. Make a stand for others less fortunate. Take risks.